Hello, everyone. Now, you know who I am because you're on my Facebook page. I am ejean, just in case you are not for sure. So let me make sure you can see me because I know you can hear me. So hold on one second. Let me go and make sure I am live with you all. We are at your favorite place, which is my favorite place, in Duncanville, Texas, at Enda's BOOKtique Bookstore, and we are live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I am, God is just so amazing. Let me just say this, and I'm gonna do my best without crying, but because I'm not that type of emotional person, except for when God does what he does. So today, I just did a prayer. I have a prayer room back there, chaplain room, and this whole week I've been just, and my sister can testify to this, I was just praying to God. I was like, God, I need to know what's up. You know, I need clarification. I need understanding about what you want me to do, and so I just told them, be careful what you ask God for, as if he won't answer your prayers. And I am blessed to sit with wonderful, beautiful women where they are praying women, and God answered prayers. So before we get started, we're going to open up with a word of prayer. That's what we're going to do. We're going to open up with a word of prayer. And we happen to have several prayer warriors, but I'm going to ask Reverend Tonya to open us up with a word of prayer. So y'all just hold tight. Let's open up and usher up the Spirit of God into this conversation. So we're going to ask you, Reverend Tonya, to open up us with the word of prayer.
Sure. Let's go to our God in prayer. Most gracious God, how we thank you, God, how we thank you for this day, how we thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for breath, for the very breath that we are breathing at this very moment. We thank you. We thank you for the blood that is running warm in our veins. There's nothing that you've done for us that we take for granted. So as we have gathered here on today, God, as you have strategically placed each and every one of us here on today, God, we ask that you allow the Holy Spirit to rule and reign, just as you started even before we woke up this morning, just as you have been dealing with Reverend Jean all during the week, God, for this very moment. So whatever it is that you would have to come forth, God, we pray that it would come forth through each and every one of us. Let the Holy Spirit speak boldly, God, the message that you would have us share with your people. In Jesus' name, let us all say amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. That's something about. She's like, I didn't know. Listen, now, we're going to have some fun. Let me tell you something. First of all, I am sitting with authors. All of us are authors of books. So you see their books. I don't have to put my book up because I'm the owner of the bookstore, which their book is going to be located here at my store. We're located at 428 North Main Street in Duncanville, Texas. I am ejean, the bookstore owner of Enda's BOOKtique Bookstore. We opened up the month of the pandemic. We did that, and we have been blessed to still be here in Duncanville, Texas. To God be the glory. Y'all hand clap for what God is doing. Bookstore. And we are still here because of God. Let me say that. So let me share this with you. If you are watching this video, loves, if you're watching this video, don't buy books from other people. Okay, go to Enda's BOOKtique Bookstore. Go to endasbookttique.com. Endasbookttique.com. You can order books from us. We can have the books shipped to you. That's right. You can order online and have them shipped to you. If you want them shipped to the store where you want to pick up the book, we can do that as well. If you have a special order that you would like to have at this book, we can do that as well. We can work through all the processes. We are here. We are a small bookstore. There are many of us who are independent bookstore owners. So I am petitioning to you to support your independent bookstores. I am on the board of directors for Mountain Plains Independent Bookstores Association, and so I am blessed to be able to be on that board of directors. I'm a part of ABA, American Booksellers Association. We report to the New York Times. Yes, we do book scan. We do all of those things here at Enda's BOOKtique Bookstore. But most importantly, with this bookstore, one of the things that I wanted to do was to support independent authors like you who is watching me, and like these lovely ladies who are sitting at this round table of authors, baby. I am so blessed to be able to be with them. And so this is going to be a long not a long conversation, but a fun conversation. So with each and every one of them. But the first thing I want to do is to petition you to support us, because I want my store to stay open in Duncanville, Texas, but we can't do this without you. Okay, this is for you. This is for our community. And you know, my wonderful brothers and sisters, regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, regardless of or whatever you like to do in your crib, you know we all need to read books. We need to read books. So we do audio books, we do ebooks, we also do physical books, which you see up here as well. So we have a way for you to support this bookstore, or you could just donate books or funds. Either of that, we have all ways for you to support us. So for Christmas, what I want for Christmas is for you to support Enda's BOOKtique bookstore. That's what I want for Christmas. So you can donate $25. That's because Christmas is on the 25th day of December. You can donate $25. I would appreciate your donations. Or you could come help volunteer. I need some support here. I need people to come here. Or guess what? Are you an author? Are you an author? Shut the front door. Come up here and support our bookstore so we can support you as well. Or maybe you are a vendor. We would love to support vendors as well. So we have so many different ways of doing that, and I'm just always prayerful about what I can do to give to the community. So now I would like each person who is sitting with me at this round table to introduce themselves, and we're going to start with my sister. I call her Auntie Rita. I call all of my sisters Auntie because of my son, and so we're going to start with Auntie Rita. She's going to introduce herself and the title of her book, and we're going to just go, I don't know if it's clockwise to you or counterclockwise, but this is the route we're going to take, and then we're going to move forward with the discussion. So we'll start with you, Rita.
Okay, so my name is Rita Williams, and the name of my book, one of my books, I'll go through them quickly. Those Christians Over There, that is a stage play that I turned into a book. Also, there's another one called High and Lifted Up, which is another stage play that I also turned into a book. And then I have another book called Blake. It's in a series called Radiant, coming from a TV pilot that I wrote. And the last two books that I wrote, one is a textbook called Releasing Your Grudge in 5 Simple Steps, and then there's a workbook that goes along with that. Those are the 5 books.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. So, before we get started, everyone else, she's the person that I talked to when I came back from out of town and said, hey, I'm going to start my bookstore, and I need you to write some books. She took me serious and wrote a lot of books that are here located in Enda's BOOKtique, so I appreciate your support.
Yes.
All right, my love, you're next.
All right, my name is Precious Adesuwa, and this is my book, Aneka Says, that is based on being thankful and showing gratitude. And I thought it would be so great to promote it with Thanksgiving coming up, implementing ways to show children on how to be thankful and show gratitude.
I love that.
And I also have another book published that is available called 3 Cola Nuts, based on teaching children the importance of being patient. And that book is, I won an award with the cultural divisions through independent authors. So I am an award-winning author. Thank you. Thank you. And I have many storytelling segments online for children. I'm also a children's songwriter, and I have children's songs online. So please visit me online. Instagram, Art of Storytelling, Facebook, Art of Storytelling, and Amazon online under my name, Precious Adesuwa.
Okay, you're very good. Thank you. Love. All right, and you, my love, Monique?
Yes, I am Monique R. Johnson, and I am the author of Relentlessly Resilient, Overcoming the Resistance, and I wrote that book and chose that title because life is relentless. It's always coming at us, but there is a faith walk that we must take, and it will help us overcome the resistance.
I love that. Y'all give it a
I'm Brenda L. Williams, and my book title is Beyond the Classroom. And knowing that things are happening in this generation to where I want to reach out with the parents, not for them to control their kids, but for them to coach their children and being that example in the home and what these kids need. So I'm here today to discuss that.
All right, I love it. Not control, but coach. Yes. Okay.
Hi, I am Tonya Bradshaw, and I am a published author. This is my first book, Soul Soothing Prayers, and it's a collection of prayers to celebrate joy, embrace humanity, and self-affirmation.
Yes. All right, so as you can see, I am surrounded by some wonderful, beautiful women who are authors, and This is our first of many Authors Roundtable, which means we're going to talk about all types of things that impact our community from an author's perspective, an educator's perspective, from our professional perspective. We have so many different uniqueness about each and every one of us that we want to make sure that our discussion positively contributes to our community. We want to bring up real, authentic issues that impact our world today and provide some solutions and some resolutions. But we also want to get back to our community because oftentimes there's a lot of talk about what we can do to make it better, but we want to also share with you our stories of what we do in the community to make it better, right? We want to positively impact our community. So first of all, if you're just not joining me, of course, I'm surrounded by beautiful ladies who are authors. I'm here at my bookstore, Enda's BOOKtique Bookstore, which is located in Duncanville, Texas. And I have written a book. My book focuses on female entrepreneurs and male entrepreneurs. I like to celebrate people who do things, who have stepped out on faith and made a decision to start their own business, to write their book, to start a school, to start a ministry. I'm the advocate of people who decide to step out there and be like Peter and walk on water, because that's what it's like, right? You step out here and start a business, baby. You say, God told me to do this, and they looking at you like, okay, well, where's God now? You know, you have to make some shifts and moves and all those types of things. So I'm the type of person that loves to advocate for us because oftentimes we're positioned in a place of being the underdog, and that is far from the truth, because if God be for us, who can be against us? Am I right about that? Of course, you know, I'm a minister, so I'm going to throw some scriptures up in there and preach just a little bit. So let me just ask each person to share why you kind of talked a little bit about your book, what your book is about, but let's just do this. When somebody reads your book, what message do you want them to get out of your book? Like, what is the theme of your book? And when they put the book down, they can say, that was my aha moment. This is the message that I received. So I'm going to start with you, author Brenda.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
When they read this book, they will gain, the parents will gain how to coach their children without controlling them. And it will give them a sense of what they need to do, because I believe in this generation, the rule still stays the same, but the approach become different. So what I'm learning and what I've written is the love and the safety and the security is what these kids need. How we need to do that, what that looks like. Parents are way too busy. They have to work, and we have to give them credit for that because they have to work to provide. However, the attention, the safety, what the kids are needing is way far what we need. So that's what I will look at it, and dealing with the signs, you know, when they go into depression or when their eating habit has changed, what is going on with those kids. Oftentimes we miss those warning signs until it's too late. But the kids are telling us what they need, but we're just not paying attention to those needs. And they have unwanted needs. So this book will tell them what they need to do as a guide and how to help these kids.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm glad you shared that. How many of us are parents? Raise your hand. Yeah. All right. How many of us have parents that are still in school? Raise your hand. Anybody? I'm the only one left. You'll be a senior next year. But most of us, our kids are grown and gone. And when I say grown and gone, that means they may still be in a home, but they are now mature. They have their own kids, their own families, or they're doing some things, right? So for us, the generation that we are watching that is in school today, and I'm a high school teacher, and so oftentimes my heart bleeds, right? Because like you said, their needs are not being met, and it's hard for us to understand what that looks like because we're not raising this generation of kids, right? It's our kids that's raising this generation of kids,
Absolutely.
which is very different. So and social media. So unfortunately, we didn't have social media. So like oftentimes I'm telling my son, who is a high school student now, hey, you need to put the phone down. You're always in the phone. You're always in the phone. You're always in the phone. And I can't connect and understand that because I didn't have a cell phone when I grew up, right? Absolutely. So and cell phones and all of that was introduced to me as an adult. sliding in there with my oldest son, who is now in his 30s, but it is like every person, if you start walking and talking, you have an electronic device, right? So you have a different type of thing getting their attention, their undivided attention, and there's a competition with the parents, and oftentimes parents are giving that to them as a babysitter, right? It's here, let me give you this electronic device so you can be quiet. Okay, so thank God for your book. And how can they, of course, you can come to this website, and this website would tell you how you can get a copy of the book. I need you to visit my website. So that's how I'm going to leave it like that, all right?
That's all right.
Yes. But your social media is what? Let's talk about, can they get to you Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok? How can they follow you on your social media?
They can follow us on Instagram, SWAT_EDU. And then we have, the Instagram is SWAT_EDU. Then we have Facebook, the same, SWAT_EDU.
Okay, perfect. And we'll make sure we have all of that set up on our website, so you all can just go to our website and follow. Because this is the other piece is, how do you support us? First of all, purchase the books. That's how you support. And then follow us on social media, okay? Follow us and then like us. Us. And when you get a copy of the book, we would love for you to give some feedback. Give us them 5 stars and give a feedback of how the book was very, very supportive for you. All right, it's your turn, my love. When they read your book, share with the listening audience, what's the aha that you want them to get out of your book?
The first thing I want anyone who picks up this book to get is they can have anything they want in life if they believe that they can, and that belief and that faith is in God. That's for me. That comes out in this book, because life is relentless. It comes at you and it comes at you, and it will try to stop you when you're on your journey. But if you do not lose your faith, I don't care if it's small, don't lose it, because you will overcome and you will make it. You'll walk away believing that you can, I'm going to say this, be like Superman, you can leap over tall buildings. But seriously, you will walk away feeling like, my gosh, she did that? I know I can.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
And so, can you share maybe an experience that you had in life that made you decide to write such a book?
Oh, yes. Woo! What made me write this book was all of the stuff that life throws at you, and you get through it all. But the night I actually outlined the 16 chapters of this book, this is more now, but I outlined 16 chapters in one night. And I believe in my heart it was the Holy Spirit that poured out every piece, because every chapter that I wrote, I literally had 2 to 3 paragraphs that were done in a night. And I was probably in my 8th month of pregnancy at the time with my last child. And I was like, oh my God, this is something that God is doing, and I don't know, at that time, I didn't know where he was taking me with it. And a lot of times that's how he works. You don't necessarily know where you're going, but he's giving you a little glimpse and an inkling. And as I wrote that, I said, oh my God, this is going to be something for somebody, and I'm doing this now. And then there was a pause for a moment, because more things had to happen in life. And then finally it all came together, and I was able to put this book out.
I love it. I love it. Now, you're not from Texas. Where are you from?
Not originally. So I talk about that in the book. But, but I'm from California initially, and my job actually moved me here 3 years ago. And I came here, and the pandemic hit right away. And again, God, right? God. Okay. The pandemic hit. We weren't at work. There was this app called Clubhouse. We were on Clubhouse. Everybody's about writing books and telling your stories. And I was like, I'll start a book. I need to finish my book. And it was truly an opportunity to tell the story of being an 18-year-old mother on my way to college. And some things happen in life that should not have happened because of the mistakes and the choices that we make in our young minds. I have a chapter called Young and Dumb. Because, you know, we go through some stuff because we're not thinking, but we think we know it all. And then after coming through that later in life, some other things transpired, but it was the faith walk the whole time. And there's some turmoil that happens in the book, too, that many have probably gone through in life. But you come through.
Very good. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your story. That's really, really important. And that's real. And I want to say thank you all for joining and following us, then this is just real conversation. We are here working through, let me tell you this. First of all, this is an impromptu authors roundtable. These two ladies said, why don't you do this at roundtable? I said, sure. So now I had to move furniture around, and people was coming in. I just set them down. Hey, you sit down, you sit down. And we're talking about and sharing our stories about why we are at the point of where we are today. And hopefully what we're sharing is a blessing to someone else. But this is just the first of many discussions and conversations. So, all right, it's your turn, love.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, as an educator that advocates for social emotional intelligence, our role, Aneka says, to teach children the importance of being thankful and showing gratitude, because those are the first steps to manifesting your life. You have to have faith. You have to be thankful. From the small things. Even if you win a $1 scratch off from the lottery, you are a lottery winner. You are. You are. And from there, you gain more. Yes. From the little, God will watch you and show, let me see how you do with the small things. And if you can take care of that, I will give you anything. So, as a child of God, being thankful is very, very important. Showing gratitude is very important. Yes. So when someone reads my book, I want the child, even the adult, to understand the importance of being thankful. And also I incorporate culture. I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, but my parents are from a place called Nigeria. And Nigeria has a rich culture, rich food. I even incorporate her breakfast, which is plantain and eggs, which is very healthy for you. And it just shows a lot of culture and just being thankful of who she is, where she come from, being thankful for her mom and her dad and the days to come after that. So those are the things that I want the reader to understand and take from the book, is culture and gratitude.
I love it. All right. Yes. All right. Tonya, you're next.
It's my turn.
It's your turn.
Well, my book, I want to piggyback off of what Monique said. Life is full of swift transitions. And as a child, I never understood that statement. When older people would say that, what does that mean? But when you become an adult, you understand what swift transition is. So my book is one that is relatable. When people read them, not read them, but when they read the book, I want them to don't feel helpless or hopeless. No matter what situation is going on in your life, we all face challenges. Yes. All of my prayers were inspired by situations, things going on in the world, just things that we can relate to. For example, I have a friend, a very dear friend that I lost during COVID. And I was so hurt, I didn't even go to her service. I just didn't think I could handle it. And so later on, we were having a memorial service for her. And I wrote a prayer, and it's called I Miss My Friend. And that prayer is inspired by my friend who I lost, but it's not a prayer of hopelessness. It's a prayer of rejoicing, knowing that I appreciated her while she was here and we'll see her again. So I Miss My Friend in the book, I have a blank in there where her name would be. You can put your loved one's name in that blank. And anyone that's lost a friend and wants to say a prayer and they don't really know how to pray, they can use my book as a guide and insert their friend's name in the space in the prayer and find their comfort where maybe they were grieving and not celebrating the joy of having known that person and that the love living on. My book will give them hope and let them know, hey, it's other people that have experienced this, and I can look at this a different way, and I can rejoice and be happy through prayer. My soul can be soothed, which is the name of my book, Soul Soothing Prayers, which is interesting because God gave me all the prayers, and I was like, God, what is the name? I need a name, God. He gave me Soul Soothing Prayers last.
Wow.
That's amazing.
minister, that's interesting because a lot of times when I do funerals and wakes and we have to do resolutions and I write out all our resolutions and I write out all the prayers. I do that because I don't want to stand up without the prayer being intentional. And so when you reached out to me, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I would say, put it in the book. Of course, I didn't put it in the book, but I have a whole computer version of resolutions and prayers. And when you told me about that, I was like, oh, how exciting that is about the book. So congratulations to that. And I'm so glad for that. Y'all give it up again. All right. Auntie Rita, choose one of your books that you would like. Well, it's Christmas time, so let's go with the Christmas book.
Okay, so I'll be honest, two of them are Christmas books, and those are the stage plays, because I usually do them some way, somehow. God always usually has me do them around Christmas time. And so the way my books happen is just like, it always seems to be about how other people view us as Christians. They see us as, mean, hateful, hypocritical.
Yeah, she doesn't play. She had me play one of those characters.
Hypocritical, mean, and things like that. And so it just they kind of dive into those issues, in a fun and interactive type of way. But it's just as a reminder to us as why others see us that way. In our mind, we're just, hey, you got to follow policy. We got to do it this way. We got to do A, B, C, and D. And they're just like, I just need some help, And sometimes we get really, steadfast.
Unmovable. Always abounding in the
Lord have mercy, very much so. And then we forget that sometimes they just need some help. They just really need some help. And I'll give just a short example of, it was in this book right here, Those Christians Over There, with the play that my sister was in. And it was all about, it was a homeless couple. There was two people. They were on a homeless shelter. And the church comes to the homeless shelter on a regular basis to feed them. They don't really connect with them. They just come, they just pass out food and they leave. Right? So it's like, hey, we've done our duty. As we did our Christian duty. We fed y'all. So let's just get up and go. Right? No, not really showing any love. Not really. I'm just no connection whatsoever. And so there's a lady who said, you know what? I have a baby. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she was just like a baby doll for Christmas. Can you please give a baby doll? Or just $3. I saw one for $3. It was on sale. It was at the thrift store on sale for $3. And so, the church had them. They had to fill out all this paperwork. They had to make this requisition form and then show some ID. They have to be at the church from this time to that time, and they have to answer the email. But I live in a homeless shelter. I don't have an email. Okay, well, then you're just going to have to call at this time. I live in a homeless shelter. I don't have a phone. But it just, the whole play, it was just about that. And the next thing you know, so now they have to go through drastic measures just to get $3 so the baby can have a doll for Christmas. So sometimes we just get really, we lose focus.
Yes.
It's like we understand our duty, but sometimes we lose focus on the way that we should just be, give.
It should be simple. It shouldn't be too complicated.
Yeah, it shouldn't be complicated.
We kind of make it too complicated.
We make it complicated because, we want to make sure, hey, you know what, she's not on our road, she ain't paid no tithes, and this money that the church members have been paying their tithes on. So, it's, for somebody just to come and just, we can't keep letting people take advantage of our church like that. But, so sometimes we kind of lose focus a little bit. And this kind of shows why people now this is not church bashing. I do not bash the church people, because once again, the church people, they love to give, they have a heart to give, but sometimes we lose focus when we start laying down all the rules and regulations and all that kind of stuff, because most church people, we all have jobs, right? We work in the corporate world, and so we're used to the rules and regulations and the paperwork and the ABC, and sometimes we just kind of forget, like you said, sometimes it just should be simple.
Yeah. All right. So the title of your book again is
Those Christians Over There.
Yeah. But if you're just now joining us, I am Ejean, the owner of Enda's BOOKtique bookstore. We're located in Duncanville, Texas, and I am surrounded by beautiful women who are authors, and I like to say authors of their own book that they have released. And those books are located here at the bookstore. This was kind of an impromptu. What what did you call it? A round table? What kind of round table is it? A booksellers, authors round table. Thank you, help me out. I'm always around booksellers, so it's authors round table. And, as God would have it, and I was just being obedient. So, as God would have it, God just brought, for such a time as this, these women here today who have reached out to me at different times, connected. You can get something to drink, babe. At different times, and to bring their book into this bookstore. So now, I want to share with you. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I want to share with you a couple of things that we have here at the bookstore. First of all, what I want to do is I want to encourage you as a person to purchase their books. Okay, this is a great Christmas present for authors. Okay, so if you're asking, if you know any of these ladies sitting at this table, let me just say this: if you know them, okay, and the question is, what can I do for them for Christmas? Purchase their book. Okay, so what does that do for them? First of all, purchasing their books increases their sales, of course, and it's not just about revenue, but it also increases the information that's put out there from us as booksellers, because whenever you purchase a book through our bookstore or through the websites or anything, we report our numbers every week on Sunday to Monday. We have at least until Tuesday, let me say that, to report all of our sales for that. The other piece is purchase their book, read their book. Okay, purchase their book, read their book, and then make comments about their book. And hashtag the name of their book. Okay. Hashtag the author of the book. So that, and do that on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Google, all Goodreads, all of those things. And then not only do that, but share that information with someone else as well. How can you support this bookstore or independent bookstores all over? First of all, I'm going to encourage you. I know it's so easy to click on that company that starts with the A. I know it's real easy to purchase everything from that company that starts with A. Okay, I'm just saying, I have an account with that company that starts with A. But if it's a book, I am asking you to support Enda's BOOKtique bookstore. Yes. I am really asking you to do that. That helps us. Our Aunt Dandy's on. Hi, Aunt Dandy.
Hi, Aunt Dandy.
So out of Houston, and my brother Andre is with us as well. So what you do is when you support independent bookstores, we this is how you support us, that we can stay open, so we can support our community. One of the things that's important to me is to support independent authors as well. So you supporting us, purchasing your book, you can go to our website, you can purchase a book online, have it shipped to your house, and do that. If you are an independent author, you can reach out to us as well, and to do that as well. But most importantly, we're here to support independent authors. So their books are aligned on this table, looking real, real cute, babies. So yes. And I'll make sure that links are on our website to connect to them as well, so that you can support them for these Thanksgiving holiday. Now, the one thing I really do love about each author that is with us today is that your book is relevant to the season that we're in for today, right? Yes. It literally, like only God does some crazy stuff like this. That's what don't pray to God. I tell you, my sister can say this. Yes. I have been back and forth, and don't pray to God and act like He can't answer your prayers. Right. I mean, and He will put a foot on it and say, "Baby, just hold on, I got this." So each book here, each person here, and we were talking about how our connection is to the community, how we're connected to young people, how we're connected to social work, how we're connected in the educational system, right? Yes. How we're connected into the corporate America, how we're connected into multicultural dynamics, all those types of things that are so very, very important. But what I want to say this to you is, for all of the women that are watching us, that are mothers, that are daughters, that are aunts, that are grandmothers, because some of us are grandmothers, right? Yes. All right. Some of us are grandmothers, right? Some of us are that. Some of us are in our I know 50s. That we have and then we have 30, right? So listen, boo. Let me tell you this. We weren't born at the age of 50-something or 30-something. We started off as little girls. Little girls with big dreams, and then we grew up and we went through transitions in life. Yes. Okay. Some of us just started writing our first book in our 50s. Yes. Amen. Yes. Amen. Okay. Yes. There are two characters I want to share with you in the Bible One is Mary and one is Elizabeth. They're actually in the same conversation. They were both pregnant at the same time.
Yes. That's good.
One was young and one was older. But they both were pregnant at the same time.
Yes.
That means you're not too young for God to do something with, and you're not too old for God to do something with. God can give you, God can make it happen for you, whether you are 18 or 58. As long as you're breathing and living this life, God has something for you to do. It's not too early, too soon, and it's never too late. It's never too late. Don't give up. Don't give up. That's what I want to tell you. Don't give up. I want to tell you, don't give up. Now, if you feel like you are alone, you have ministers and chaplains and corporate leaders and teachers and educators. We are here together, and I'm giving them an assignment. You are our assignment. Whoever you are out there that you're watching us, and you needed to know, what does God want me to do? Or you're ready to quit, or you're ready to give up, or you're unsure. And I'm going to tell you that I'm raising my hands, surrendering both my hands. My sisters can tell you, literally within the last 2 weeks, I've had conversations. Because I needed to hear from God. Because I was like, God, I cannot see you. I cannot hear from you. I was like Christ on the cross. Why have you forsaken me? Right? I was like, I can't see you. I can't hear you. And for a preacher, that's real dangerous. For real though, for real. Because I'm like, I can't see you. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just like my life. I get up to go to bed. I get up to go to bed because it's so much happening, and I just needed to know. I needed to hear from you, Lord. And God just in His way does what He does. And if He can do it for me, love, I'm telling you, He can do it for you. That's right. Okay. He can, and He will do it. He will do it. He will do it for you. All right. So this is the first. So I got commitments from y'all, right? This is the Arthur's Roundtable. Yes. Okay. This is the Arthur's Roundtable. I gotta make sure I have water for them from now on. They talked about me like, okay, how do you have an Arthur's Roundtable? You don't have the water. You don't have the official cups. Okay, this is their fault because this happened today. So, okay, I just want to tell you. So, if we don't look good, we don't sound good, we're not going to be perfect, okay? We're going to be real, we're going to be relevant, and we're going to show you what class looks like, classy women, okay? Classy women that talk about classy things. So, I know, and I'm not hating on anyone and how you make your bread and your butter. So, I'm not talking about any other women and how you do what you do. Do you, boo? But for us and our home, we're going to do it where we represent Christ. We're going to represent class. We're going to represent a quality of how we want young women to be. Because there is a way that you can be to get what you need to be and do what you need to do without the ratchetness. Okay? So we are representing what ratchetness does not look like. Now, let me tell you, I can be ratchet. I can. No, we can. I think we all got it. So I'm not saying that it doesn't exist in that. Right. Okay. But we're going to tell you how you just step up just a little bit. Get up just a little bit. Take yourself up some steps. All right. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, real quick. And so let me apologize in advance. I received a text message.
Okay.
I might need to take your birthday present to the ER real quick.
Yes. Okay.
So I got to go.
Okay.
But
Yes.
he might just need to get a little shot in the caboose.
Okay. All right. So your grandson.
My grandson.
Okay.
He's
All right. And
under the weather.
let's do this. We're gonna wrap this up in here. So let me say that. Go to our website, endasboutique.com. That's endasboutique.com. And what I'm going to do is get with the ladies. We're going to get some dates, and we're going to come back to you. We're going to come back to you in December. Yes. All right, we're going to come back to you in December. All right, everybody, we love you so much. Thank you for joining us. All right, buy the books. Have a good one.